I don't know why I said that. Thank you so much. Hello everybody. For those who don't know me, I'm Emma and I'm the artist behind Unsteady Art. So, as usual, got a few things going. I've actually got both printers actually printing off stuff now, and that's with the bookmarks and the backing cards for the bookmarks as well. There's, how can I put it? I've done bookmarks quite a lot with you guys, and quite recently. Hopefully I might be able to show you some of the things up on here. And yeah, I'll be up on there. And I need to do something other than that. And while they're printing doing nothing, I might as well get doing on something else. So what I've decided to do, because I've got a few hat orders to come in, is to try. So I've got my cat that I usually have on Mister over there. And I want to try on the back. Now I need to get the fast clamps out on this. I need to measure the diameter of the circle so I can actually work out what that curve's like. I'm hoping it's going to go good. There's a few things I'm going to try. So when I did it on the side, that was hooping up all the way across on both sides, and it didn't exactly go level even though that is centered. So I'm going to try and do it where it's on the fast clamps. So these actually just clamp in place and then you embroider between the clamps. There's not as much room to manoeuvre on it, but it's probably going to be more accurate than trying to hoop like that, because the slightest thing takes it out. So let me get the design on, and well, I'll get the fast clamps on first, then I'll get the design on, because at least then I can measure where the field I've got, because there is several that you can do when it comes to fast clamp. One thing I am going to do though is make the font bigger, a bit more prouder, or put like some form of emblem or something on it. So yeah, let's get on with it. So these are my fast clamp pros. So getting into the, so when I open them up, big box of goodies in here. So we've got the 3 size arms, so the small, middle and large for left and right side. We've got the clamp arm, and then we've got as little screws and bits here for the extenders. I personally don't need the extenders, but that might be something that you need, that you want. Now, it does come with a very, very good instruction book, which I have to admit, every time I get this out, I've got to re-look at it. I don't use it as often, and to be honest, it probably would be more often now that I'm starting to do the hats. So I've put the arms off of my machine, ready for these to go, because usually this goes in place of the machine. So I've got my arm here, which, let's see if I can get it into screen for you. There we go. So you see the numbers on the side there and there? So these are, so we can manoeuvre those across. So when it comes to a hat, even though the diameter there is different, we can only do to so much of that arm. So for example, this is on the lowest, so we'll be able to hook that up, but we still need it to go a bit further to be able to get that. So if I move these across, so let's start with 11. So that has to line up with the numbers on both sides. So I need to move that to 11. There we go. So if I put that towards it, for example, that actually might probably be quite a good one. But we'll see once we get the arms on. So when it comes to the arms, you can get them where they are very, very long. But I can only physically do about half of that. Because of how they work as well, the further away it is, the less secure it's going to be, because it's how it clamps on. So that's definitely not right. So probably these ones will probably do better. So I think I'm going to try these ones first. So we've got as left and as right. So we've got that out. I do usually do these off the machine, just so it's easier to get to places that I need it to go, and it's a bit more supportive for me as well. So these ones here, so they've got notches on both sides there, so you know roughly how far out they are. You've got really hopeless at this. So you've got your screw there, and it goes all the way down. You can only put it on, and then you've got to screw it to go down. So right side at the moment. So fitting it into this bit here. As soon as it's there, that's when you can just screw it down. So I'm not going to put it all the way down yet, because you need the bottom on as well. So I need some of these screws that I've got in, and one of the Allen keys, which I got loads from the machine itself, so I have got loads of those now. So I need the bottom for the middle. So this one, that bit needs to go under the material. There's a little section there with two offsets that goes in there. Screw hole there, and then the entry point there. So I'm going to get my screw. Try to see if you can see this. That's probably better. Put it there, and then Allen key to tighten it up. And then that can then open up. Still need to tighten them up, so you just sort of get them to meet, but I'm going to do both of these off camera for 2 minutes, because it is a bit of an awkward, it's awkward for me. Right, so like I says, they need to match up with the third in. So let me get me bolts that put to one side, screw shut it. So just make sure they're down. And then the third one in. Right, so got it set on 11. Got those in. Now, can't open it fully up, but it's enough. Check your bobbin and do your daily, just to make sure you've got enough bobbin in the machine to cope with this. So now I'm going to get the hat. Once again, I'm going to put it on to the fourth one. But I need to be a little bit higher for this one though. Oh, and I put the pressure foot down to 1 from the bottom. So all the way down and one up. So let me get this in place and then we're good to go. With that all on the machine, I just need to measure everything out. So I know how they're set up at the moment. It's 17 wide and then down. So if I measure the hat, so what I'm trying to do is just get the diameter of this sphere. So we are on minimum of 9 that way on. About 5 that way on. So what I'm going to do is do it and then just sort of see how I can go. That made no sense at all. So 9, 5. So I just need to now do a curve that will go across there. I'm thinking more of just Unsteady Art, something quite basic, but do it a bit more chunkier than what that was. So with that, I did use the tearaway backing. Don't know if it'd be better with a water soluble or something like that, but it does need to be quite chunky. So let's have a practice. I've got loads of parts I had to practice on, so yeah, let's get on with it. So it's all in place. The only thing I'm going to do is just grab some stabiliser and just float it underneath it. So bear with us. Just make sure that and the other thing I'm going to do as well is just completely stop the machine, drag the needle down, and I'm just wanting to make sure that it's at the centre. So the same scenario as what I do with the hats on the front to get it centred. So fingers crossed, let's press play. So let's see how we do. The idea with fast clamps is literally, that's it. I definitely don't think I did bad for first attempt. Right, so I'm going to try something very different. So the hat did really quite well. Let's see if you can actually see that properly. There we go. So the reason why I did this is because my son's design is a cat with a brain. Now, the long part of the brain is always at the back, so he purposely designed it to wear like that. Now, not the best person for hats, trust me on that one. But because of that reason, it was great at the back, but there was nothing at the front. So this is another way that he could probably do, and it's something else that I can offer them, which is great. But now I'm going to try something really daring. The bill of the cat. Now, I know I need my shorter needles for this, so it's the one that I originally did with these because it's a lot more padded. I've also dropped the foot all the way down to the top and one below. So, fingers crossed this works. Oh, and I've moved the arms in to 9. Yeah, 9. So, fingers crossed. Welcome back, everyone. So yesterday and technically a bit of the day before, so I haven't really been doing much frontal talking this week. It's just because a lot of things have been going on in the background, and some of it I just can't record. So a lot of yesterday was done teaching my son how to do some parts of the embroidery, but I'm going to go through that process with you now. So we started off with my hat. So I've been wanting to do the back and the peak for a while, but it's the first time in a while I've had a bit of quiet. So I thought I'll get it done, so at least then it can generate more. So first thing I did was the back of my hat. So I just did it in plain text, quite chunky, because I didn't want the same thing to happen with them where it was that fine you couldn't actually see it. There was a few things that I wanted to change with it, mainly the art bit was a little bit lower, so all of it could have done with just like moving over slightly. But for the first time I didn't really bother, I just needed it ish. I did measure the circumference diameter of the circle part here, not semicircle, which then led to that. Well, it could have been done with just a touch bigger, just a touch, but it is quite hard to do. It went brilliantly. No issues barring on the T, which, no, you can't really see it from the back. Obviously I haven't really cut it down, I've just removed the stabiliser. The other bit was the peak. Now I have to admit I completely eyeballed the curve I needed, and the main reason is this isn't a proper curve. The bill is just not that easy, so you end up with a lot of trial and error, which in hindsight now to when I did my son's, I completely changed how I did it. So what I did differently, so this is not the hat, this is just one that we've done for someone recently, is we printed it out. So the first one was the little one here. So if I can just place that for you so you can see. So, oh, very hard to do is this. So when we placed it on, because his logo is, the wording is already to the side, that's what we copied. So we noticed, you know what, I'm going to change camera angle a bit, was just rolled it on, and as you can see the S was kind of dropping off. So what we did was changed the curve on the S and then made it a bit bigger. So this is the one that we did. So we did at first think that it actually flowed across one and then touched on the other, but unfortunately didn't go well. It did have a lot of needle breaks, which was surprising, but it was because it was going through the seam at the top. I also forgot that I needed to shove the foot pedal down a bit, so that wouldn't have helped either. After I did change those, it did work out quite well, which I was glad at, just the issues on that hem. And it did go quite nicely after that. The less bit was still out, so we do have to sort of fold that down, but I think in future, instead of just print it out, I'll print it out to start with, and then I'll actually embroider it out just as a general test piece, especially if it's a big order, because I need to be able to know that I can get it right, and I can get it right the first time, not the second, third and fourth, because that's just blowing through far too many blanks. It ain't bad for me and for my son, because we have got our own, so we've been practicing on our own. But when it comes to clients doing it, it might be a little bit different. So yeah. So what's going to happen now? Well, we're going to be doing one later on, not today, probably next week now, where we're on about doing his actual logo on the back, so that should be quite interesting. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will leave it for this week. I am going to start the next video straight away, so apologies for the going to be the same clothing. And yeah, if you did like this, please like, subscribe. Love to hear your comments, so please comment. And after that, I'll see you next week. Bye.